Okay, here we are, April 7th, 2017. Actually, my stepdaughter's 25th birthday.
Happy birthday, Jay.
And here's me and my wife. This is a video on something we saw on YouTube, and it was really cool. It's a maple syrup filter. We're getting to the point where we went a little bit bigger than we normally do, like 5 gallons, and went to like 15 gallons. Using 3/16 line and all that stuff. Absolutely amazing. But anyway, the point of this video is to show you the filter that we made and talk to you about some of the problems. My wife picked up 2 stainless steel pots. I think they're each 5-gallon pots. And what did we do to this one? One of them we modified. We put in a shutoff valve, and we've got a fitting for an air hose. And we just sealed it up with a rubber washer and a steel washer. And that's the bottom pan. The top pan, which we'll show you, will fit over it with a filter. My wife bought at the local fabric store. What kind of filter is that?
It's
fabric?
Polyester felt.
It's polyester felt. They also made cotton felt. We've tried several different things, and this is really the best that we found. So she puts that over there. We made that a little bit bigger than the obviously the pot. Now put the other one over top of it.
And I got the filter wet, so it creates more of a suction.
Okay, we wet the filter first. And now you want your pots with nothing in there so that one just fits inside of the other, but it's actually a little sloppy. That way when you put this felt in, it makes a nice seal around there. That's one of the reasons that you wet it. Oh, I'm sorry, in this top pot, I forgot, I put a series of holes in with a regular sheet metal type of drill. A stage step drill bit. Real simple. Stuff you get at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, any of those places. Now, speaking of that, so the reason for the air fitting on bottom is I've got this air compressor tank, a portable one, and it's for filling your tires and stuff. But we're actually using it as a vacuum chamber. We got the cheapest, or least expensive, I should say, vacuum pump from Harbor Freight that we could, and we ended up hooking it up and using the air compressor the opposite of it normally would be. Now, I do not have a vacuum gauge on there. This is a pressure gauge, which is just the opposite, obviously. And I want to get a pressure gauge, or a vacuum gauge. I just haven't yet.
Right, we just didn't want to put too much money into it until we experimented a little bit.
Yep, so that'll be our next step, and this actually works very well. So we vacuum, and in theory, you would bring it up to, I don't know, 25. If you could get 28 inches of mercury, that would be great, but that would be a perfect vacuum. And I don't know if this is the pump for that job. In the future, we may upgrade the pump. So, what we've done is you create a vacuum with the vacuum pump in the air tank. Then she disconnects.
Sure I do. Okay.
The vacuum pump. And now she connects that to our fitting that you saw on the lower one of the pots. So in theory, what you do is you fill this pot. I don't know, we were filling it up about 1/3 of the way, because at the end of the season we were getting what they call dark or dirty syrup out of our pans. So you fill it up, it covers those holes, and it gets to the point where it's thick and it's dark and it doesn't drain down in. So then what we do is we've got a little 1/4 turn shutoff, which you can't see yet. And you'd open that up, and with this felt material acting as a seal, but also acting as a filter for all the, what do we call them? Niter and sugar sand. It does an excellent job. So what we've got so far is we've got a portable air compressor tank to use as a vacuum chamber. We've got a vacuum compressor from Harbor Freight. We have 2 pots that were on sale, 5 gallons, $11 each.
From Boscov's.
Boscov's.
but you can use a smaller tank too.
And we have fabric from the local fabric store, which the fabric was a couple dollars a yard.
$4 a yard for the polyester felt. I also got wool, which was about $20 per yard.
But we haven't tested that yet. So in the next part of the video, we're going to have some warm syrup. That is, it's almost syrup, but it's not exactly. And we're going to show you how that pulls down through the filter. Okay, so here we are with the farmer, Melissa. And she's going to show you first how to use the vacuum pump to vacuum out the air tank. So we've got it all hooked up. Oh, did you already vacuum out the vacuum tank?
I did. What? Yeah, but we can do it again.
Let's turn it on. Let's show.
Okay, let me get it on there. Okay.
Sweet.
So we open the valve up and turn the pump on. We're sucking air out of the tank to create a vacuum. I don't know if I'm saying it loud enough, but we're sucking air out of the tank to create a vacuum because that's what we're going to use to vacuum, filter our stuff.
Our pre-filtered syrup. Okay, so they get the idea.
Okay.
Now we shut the valve.
Shutting the valve, turning the pump off. Now I'm
Disconnecting the vacuum pump.
Now I'm going to hook it up to our bottom pan here. I'm going to, the valve is closed, I'm going to open
the valve on the air tank.
Valve on the air tank.
Which is our vacuum tank now.
You can hear it go, which means
everything pressurizes.
Everything's pressurized.
So now we can look in there and see the holes. We've got the filter set up.
So we want our syrup to be warm because that goes through the filters easier when it's warm.
Around 180 to 200 degrees, right?
Right. And then pour it in there. Okay.
And you can hear it kind of going down into the bottom pot. Little air is escaping. Go ahead, honey.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it on just a quarter turn.
And that is how you vacuum filter. Now again, without a gauge, we don't know what our vacuum pull is. So we just let it go for a little bit. The next part's a little bit trickier, because now we have to pull the top pot off without letting everything that's in the filter fall down into our filtered sap. Ready? Okay, so we've got some of the problems we have is when we pull this top pot off, this filter wants to fall. So this is a two-person job at the moment. I'm gonna hold two of the filter cups ends. My wife's grabbed hers. And she's gonna move her string over. And actually that worked very good. Now, this was a clean filter. You can see all the dark sediment that the vacuum has pulled, and what we're left with is nice, clean
tree blood.
Now, look at it as I pour it into this bucket. You shouldn't see any sediment. It's just beautiful, clear syrup. Now we will not bring this back to a boil. We'll leave this at around 200 to 205 degrees. Let it steam off. I know it's a little slower, but anything over, well, the boiling point of syrup will form new niter, and we're trying to get rid of all of that. So we'll let it steam off, and then what we use is our I forgot what it's called to test it with. Detect the density.
The hydrometer.
Hydrometer.
The scale.
the syrup hydrometer, to tell that it's finished syrup. In the past, we've done it with a thermometer, which works excellent, except we don't want to bring this up to boiling. That's why we're going to use the hydrometer. That's our video. Hope you like it.